to,
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah.
have you had a deeper conversation with him wrapped around becoming an agent?
No, he wants to meet. He's gone on vacation this week. When we were going to try and get together, but then he had to quarantine because of COVID.
Yep.
So yeah, we're good together either. I think Lauren said he's hoping maybe this Friday if he gets back in time, or maybe next week. So
Gotcha. Oh, good. I just wanted to make sure we were recording. I had a moment of feeling like it wasn't.
I got a text from Barbara Sherlaff this morning from Century 21 Ocean. She had questions
Oh,
for your
gotcha.
concierge team and different things on that. So made me chuckle inside a little bit, just because Red had sent an email out to both Alex Kohodad and myself. Hey, Barbara's looking for team leader coaching. One of you guys interested? And before I could even see the email, in fact, I emailed Red, and like 6 hours later, and I said something like, I said, I would love to. I said, but I'm happy to talk to Alex to see who's the best fit for her, or whatever, whatever we think is best for Barbara. He emailed me back. Yeah, the minute I sent the email, Alex called me personally and said, I want her.
She's great.
She's amazing, but then it cracks me up that I'm getting calls and or I'm getting texts from her. Hey, can I ask you questions on how to do this? Because Alex doesn't do that. Alex is still he's got a team, but he's 80% of the production, and he doesn't have a concierge department.
Gotcha. I didn't know 100%, but just due to his marketing I don't know why I thought or why I assumed that, but I had already made the assumption that he was very much still engulfed in the day-to-day production.
Right.
That's the case with Paco too, isn't it? Hello.
So here we have it already.
Hola.
Pete Brynsma tried logging in. He sent you and I an email. Hey, Kevin.
Hi. And then I got Ross here too.
Hi, Ross.
Hey, how are you?
Excellent, man.
Awesome.
The email from Pete.
Yep.
Show me. Love his second question. So yeah, you'll just have to obviously apologize to say, hey, the company we signed up for.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm hungry. Dang it.
I know. I'm sorry.
They were doing something cool. They were delivering lunch, and then the company backed out at the last minute.
Yeah, they backed out at the last minute. I'll let everybody know, but just with COVID times, availability as far as employees and whatnot, and the amount of folks that were interested in this, so our attendee, they couldn't deliver on it and let me know at the last minute. So
Hi, Stacy. Hi, Judy.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Good to see you guys. Stacy, you're muted. I can't hear you, hon.
So it doesn't
There.
officially start for a few minutes, right?
correct.
Right around noon. Yep.
Yep, okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
Hey, Bill. Here you are hanging out at the bottom.
I'm used to that, being put at the bottom.
Aw. Next time I need some like elevator music here.
Mm-hmm. Phil, you can do some singing, can't you?
I can sing solo, you won't hear me.
I've heard that before.
Tanya. Got Scott. We've got some beautiful windows there, whoever's those are.
Yeah, that's a nice view.
I can't tell if it's just a candid photo or if that's like an actual location.
Can you maybe send a quick email reminder?
I can.
Jumping on in 2 minutes, or the event starts in 2 minutes. As you guys are coming into the meeting, make sure you mute yourselves, and we're gonna hopefully get started no later than a few minutes after 12 as people join us. But welcome, we're glad you're here. There we go. Somebody's got some, oh, that's Lauren's music up front. No, it's background music while we're waiting. That's good. Some new faces here. Van, how are you? Good to see you. Scott McLaughlin. I don't know if I met him. Judy's on board. I saw Tammy Herwire. Welcome, Tammy.
Hey, thank you.
Elizabeth, good to see you. Rachel, I can't see either one of you, but I see your names on the screen, so welcome.
Thank you.
There's Mr. Kramers. Welcome, Jeff. Looks like Hung is joining us. Welcome, Hung. As you guys come on board, make sure you're muting yourself, and hopefully by 3, 4, 5 minutes after 12, we'll have a majority of us here and we can get rolling. So
Yep.
really
that's
excited to share this information with all of you. It's gonna be some good stuff that you're gonna learn on ways to get more listings. So
While we're sitting here waiting, can everybody just kind of give me a thumbs up in the chat and just confirm for me, everybody can see my screen all right? Perfect. I got a yes. Yep. Thumbs up. Awesome. We'll give it a couple more minutes, and like how we said, let people get trickled in here. And just so you guys are aware, this is going to be recorded. So if at any time, if you receive a phone call, need to bow out early, anything like that, we'll send this to you guys after the fact so that you have all the information and can rewatch any of those pieces that you need to. Cool. It looks like everybody can see me okay.
I don't know where my speaker is.
Do you want us to have our speaker on?
No, go ahead and mute yourselves. Only,
Yeah,
yeah, then just in case during videos and things like that,
Let's
dogs
do the
barking,
test
things like that, so we're
speaker.
not interrupting. But by all means, if you ever need anything, feel free to jump on in the chat. We are going to have some Q&A time, so we can jump in. Does that sound good?
There you go, you got it. Wait, you lost it again.
Give it
I
about
did.
2 more minutes, and then we'll get rocking and rolling, guys.
And then you just muted it again. I don't want them to hear me though. But you can't hear them.
We can hear you.
I love the world of Zoom. I just got on the, I think it was yesterday, I got on with our marketing guy, Dominic, and religiously, we spend the first 30 seconds, you lean in and you go, can you hear me okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me? You would think almost a year later, everybody'd have it down pat, but
There we go. Looks like Lowcat figured it, found the mute button. Nice job.
all right, I'm just skimming my email here, making sure that nobody's having any detrimental issues here.
If you just joined recently, Shelby had asked you to give a thumbs up or an okay in the chat that you can see the screen okay. I think Kurt's stuck. I don't know if you're just recently joined, but any others, please make sure to drop a little note in the chat so we know, make sure you can see and hear us okay.
All right, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So it looks like everybody so far, everybody's been able to say yes, they can see me, they can hear me, they can see my screen share. Perfect, Lowcat, all is good there. So again, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So how are you good with we get rocking and rolling here?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm super excited about this. First and foremost, I want to introduce myself. My name is Shelby Airy. I am the Director of Operations here at BP. I've been here for about 3 years since BP got founded, if you will. I've been in the real estate industry for about 7, 8 years now. I started at 5 Star Real Estate. I started as an assistant and started to get acclimated to the industry and learn what it was all about. And I was crazy enough to stick around. I really, really enjoyed it. You definitely learn something new every day, that's for sure. After 5 Star, I was over at Berkshire Hathaway. I head up the Grand Rapids region for the transaction coordinator program. Loved that. That is my niche. Operations, paperwork. I'm one of those strange ones, the SCs of the world that love all of that. So that's a little bit about me. Like I said, started at BP about 3 years ago, have loved it. We've got a great group of agents, co-workers, and it's a lot of fun. So that's a little bit about me. Let's get cruising over here. I want to take a moment. Casey Vinton, he unfortunately couldn't join us today. He's, needless to say, a little busy in the lender world, but shout out to Casey. I don't know if any of you guys have ever met him, worked with him. Great guy. He's one of our preferred lenders. So thank him for lunch today. I want to apologize. We had a little snafu with lunch. We were actually due to have all of you get lunch delivered at your home, your office, whatever that looked like. We had our folks all lined up and they backed out last minute yesterday due to COVID, illnesses in the workplace, availability for delivery drivers and whatnot. So I sincerely apologize that that didn't pan out quite like we had hoped. You guys should have all received your gift cards. And if you did not for Grubhub, please let me know. So again, I apologize that that didn't go off quite like we were hoping. All right, so now the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Howie Boovie. Wanted to take a minute here and introduce him, talk about him a little bit. He is the broker owner here at BP. He's been in the industry for 27 years. He wants me to tell you that he started when he was about 10 or 11. I'll let you guys do the math. He's been an agent or an associate broker everywhere from Greenridge to Five Star, Coldwell Banker, Realty Executives, Century 21. And obviously now he's the broker owner here at BP, which started in January of 2018. I don't know if any of you are familiar with our team brokerage model, but we are the only one here in West Michigan. That's kind of not the norm, right? Not something that everybody's super familiar with. It's kind of a hybrid between your traditional model and then some of the teams you see regularly here in West Michigan. And this is found to be very, very successful in California as well as Florida with some of the coaches that Howie has had through Jared James. Howie's why in real estate has definitely shifted from his personal production. That's no longer his heart and soul and what he's dumping into. It's not about him now. It's about coaching, whether that's new agents, seasoned agents, and really leading them to success. The quality of life, you know, you run around, all of us have the best of intentions, but there's a lot of moving pieces in what your day-to-day looks like, and making sure that we do the best in teaching people, and our agents included, of how to have that quality of life and that balance and that harmony in life. So that's really, really kind of shifted and become his why and what he loves to do. In our 3 years here at BP, we have found that our new agents, they're producing anywhere from 18 to 24 new home sales just in a calendar year. And our seasoned agents are more than doubling their production. So that's pretty awesome. We've had great success there. Howie, he is also a coach with Jared James. So that's kind of that segue and how we've learned about Jared James and realize what a wealth of knowledge he is. So that's really cool. He has students all the way from the Cayman Islands. He's got Ohio, Utah, South Carolina, you name it. He's got people from all over. So that's really cool to feed into them, but then learn from other markets, other areas of the world. So that's a little bit about Howie and myself and who we are here at BP. We're so excited that you guys could join us and really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. So let's get started. Last but not least, obviously one more introduction is Jared James. So why Jared James? Some of you may have heard about him, some of you may have not. He's relatively new here to West Michigan as far as people being familiar with him. He's a national speaker as well as a real estate coach. As I had mentioned before, he's the founder of Jared James Enterprises. He's got about 40 coaches for him and hundreds of students. All coaches carry to a couple to about 10 to 15 students at a time. So as you can imagine, that's an array of students under him. It's really cool. Our group, our clan at BP, we've had the privilege to meet a lot of those folks. We've gone to some of his events, most recently in Nashville, and met a ton of those students and those coaches, and they're great people. So that's really cool. He has his own YouTube channel, his own podcast. I highly recommend them. They are something that our team checks out on the regular and gains a ton of knowledge from those as well. And then most recently, he spoke with Tom Ferry actually on staying ahead of the ever-changing market. So those are just a couple nuggets about Jared and why we choose to follow him and why we have faith in what he says. And really, like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge. So with no further ado, we are going to learn 14 listing strategies here and how to better your business here. So let me shift gears. And we're going to get rocking and rolling with this video here. And please, if you can't hear or see this video or anything like that, drop something to me in the chat, okay?
Please join me in welcoming back to the stage.
Steve Sly? Do you know which one, Steve?
Yeah, that's not that one.
Hey everyone, welcome back, and I am excited for our first session here at the 2017 Jared James Advanced. This is one that I've really been looking forward to. And quite frankly, I am going to rapid fire. So know that everything that I'm going to talk about, the slides are available down in the session right here. All the stuff I'm talking about as far as the specific emails you need to send, as far as the specific verbiage to use, all of that stuff. If you feel like I'm going too fast with it, like you can't write it down, don't worry about it. It's all in the slides. We have it all there for you, but I made a decision to rapid fire so that I could get as many ways to get listings out to you as possible. I think, don't hold me to it, I think I'm talking about 14 different ways. I should know this, but I do not, but I think it's 14 different ways. So take notes if you want to, but more importantly, just know that they're in the slides and learn the principle of what I'm talking about more than anything. So here's what's interesting, guys. Like, you know, I do a lot of things for different countries, different parts of, you know, the US, Canada, many different countries. And usually when you're dealing with a lot of different countries, you have to know specifically where those people are in that industry, specifically what's going on in their market. And with everything with COVID, it's kind of interesting because everybody's in the exact same position. I like to say that we're all in the same traffic, but different lanes, right? You ever been in traffic and your spouse is like, getting that lane, it's going faster, getting that lane, it's going faster, getting, you know, that, we're all in the same traffic, just in different lanes. It's going at different speeds, regardless of where you are.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Just lost the volume.
I'm going to talk a little bit more today about ways to make it happen, okay? Now, here's an interesting point. When I used to teach listings and just creating business overall, 5, 6, 7, God, even more years than that now. When I used to teach this, 68% of all business was referrals. This is what we knew, right? And that's a large chunk of business. So recently, a new stat came out and said that 39%, forget about overall business, but 39% of sellers found their agent through a referral. So there's two ways to look at that. One way is to say, wow, it's almost cut in half. The other way to look at it is like, that's still a lot of business, right? So I'm going to cover a lot of different ways to create. We're going to talk about the referral basis. We're going to talk about ways that don't involve referrals. We're going to talk about all of this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we need to know there's many different ways to create. There's not just one way, but it's still, like you hear me say all the time, visibility trumps ability. Visibility trumps ability. You have to be an option. And so knowing that this many people come from referrals, you still need to master things like the Core 100. We know that. I'm not going to teach it now. It would take 27 and a half minutes. Ask me how I know that. I know exactly how long it takes to teach. But go on YouTube, put in Jared James Core 100, CORE 100, and you can go see how that was number one way I built my business as an agent. Go check that one out. But we also know the database matters, right? And so the first way that we get listings, I'm going to give you a few different ways as it pertains to the database. For those of you wondering what a database is, just look to the person next to you and ask them. It's not a Microsoft Outlook, contact list. It's not your Gmail contact list. Talking about an actual database, a CRM, a list of all of your people that are categorized in different formats, different ways, a database, right? So when we talk about a database, one of the number one ways to be creating listings right now is not the traditional way everybody thinks about. When you look at marketing, everybody thinks about calls to action, right? Calls to action. You got to have a call to action in your marketing, call to action. But one of the number one ways to create listings with your database is to create calls to conversation. We know that in our industry, conversations matter. In fact, specifically, we know that 41 real estate related conversations equals 1 transaction, right? So we need to have, and for some of you it'll be less, some of you aren't great talking, it'll be more, but it's about 41 real estate related conversations equals 1 transaction. So we have to look at within our database, how do we create calls to conversation, right? And there's one main way that you create a call to conversation, and that's something called shared observation, okay? People have conversations based around shared observations. Think about it. When you're at your company's happy hour, when you're at the water cooler, whatever, what do people start doing? What are you watching on Netflix? Are you watching this show? Did you see that show? That show. Did you see this one? Shared. We're looking for shared observation. That's what we like to have conversations about. And when you look at the world we live in today, there's almost never been a time when there's more shared observation. Like, depending on where you are in the world, you should be sending out emails to your database that talk about what's the first restaurant you're going to go inside and eat at. What color are you going to dye your hair? Guys, I would have a subject on an email that said something like, did anyone else realize how much gray hair they had? Like, I would do stuff like that because a lot of other people are feeling the same way. Shared observation, right? The other thing you want to do with your database is literally reach out to them and use them to fulfill the need that your buyers have. I'm going to give you guys some language you want to use, and you're going to hear this language over and over and over again. And the reason you're going to is because ultimately our business is about saying the right thing, saying it the right way, and saying it at the right time. That's how you win in real estate. You say the right thing, you say it the right way, and you say it at the right time. Okay, so you're going to hear this verbiage over and over again. So I would have something that went out to my database, letting them know that inventory was short and that I've got buyers that are looking. And I would say something like, hey, if you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your house without it ever even hitting the market. That's called COVID language, okay? If you or anyone you know is even considering, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your property without it ever even hitting the market, okay? That's COVID language. That's like, hey, they're thinking of selling, but they don't want 50 people to come through the house. You're gonna hear that language over and over and over again. Here's another email you can send to your database. Now, I'm gonna read this to you, but again, this is a slide that's made up for you. And by the way, a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about, some of the quotes, some of the other things, we've made them into really cool looking slides that you can download. You can put them up at your desk. If you guys still have a desk at the office, put them on don't put them in your car. That's a bad idea. But put them somewhere you're going to look at them, okay? So we've done that on purpose so you can do that. But here's an email you can send. I want you to send an email to your database that says, subject, wow, exclamation point. Who knew that Zillow is so inaccurate? And then the actual body of the email is going to say, the market's crazy right now and there's a lot of misinformation out there. Did you know the former CEO of Zillow sold his home for 40% less than his estimate? Who knew that Zillow was so inaccurate? Here's the good news. If you or a friend is considering selling or wants to know the real value of their home, or they're considering buying, just reply to this email with the address and I'll let you know what it's really worth. Send that to your database and see what happens. You'll get a great reaction. Next thing you can do, number 2, in order to get listings, you've got to have a compelling call to action. I look around our real estate world and I see people all over the place just putting their phone number out. Call me, contact me. That's not a call to action, okay? So let me go over 4 specific calls to action with you. You can have different ones if you want. You've probably seen some of these in the marketplace, but just seeing them doesn't mean they're working for you, right? So 1 is going to be the guaranteed sale program. You've probably seen these. Guaranteed I'll sell your home in 31 days or we'll buy it. You're like, how does that work? That's a scam. Look, there has to be stipulations. In the agreement, it has to say, we're going to lower you have to do my price. We're going to lower the price by 5% every single week, up to 30 days. There's all these stipulations you're going to follow. Do you know what you find with a lot of the top agents that we work with that do this? Nobody ever takes advantage of it, but it gets them in the door. It gives them something they can market to the marketplace that separates themselves. What's another one? You should be creating your own instant offer program. You know how Zillow and all these other companies are doing instant offer programs? Do you know when polled, 91% of sellers said that they would like to see an instant offer? Let me just say that again. 91% of all sellers said that they would like to see an instant offer. And yet, if I were to poll everybody watching right now, how many of you have an instant offer program? And you're like, how can I have an instant offer program? I don't have that kind of money. Okay, great. Here's what you do. Go to a RIA, Real Estate Investor Association, or something else, REIA, near you where investors pool. Go start calling those We Buy Ugly Houses signs. Go start looking for the investors. Get together 5 different investors that you make agreements with, and you sign an agreement with them that says, when I bring a house, you will make an offer. You don't have to say what the stipulation is, how much the offer will be. You don't have to be, it's just that you will, when asked, within 24 hours, you'll make an offer on a property I bring to you. That allows you to go to sellers and say, I can also do instant offer. And now you've got 5 offers coming in that probably are not going to be market value, but you offer the instant offer because they most likely won't take it, just like they don't take it with these other companies. But again, gets you in the door. Visibility trumps ability, right? We're going to keep saying that over and over again. What about another one? Talked about this heavily last year. Not enough people implemented. Certified pre-owned homes. Are you offering certified pre-owned homes yet, right? Are you offering a program where you go in, you make a deal with a local inspector, get the inspections done on your listings at half price because you're paying for them in bulk. You get an inspection on the house. Any major things that are done get taken care of by the seller. That inspection report is then passed on to any potential buyers so that they can see it. You have a 1-year home warranty that you offer as well. Costs you a little bit of money, but now it allows you to put that little stamp of approval and say certified pre-owned homes, right? Another thing that you offer to the marketplace. If you're not sure how to do that, guys, go on Facebook, type in Jared James Coaching. It's our group. You all should be a part of it. It's free. There's 13,000 agents all over the world in there. Go in there and search CPO or certified pre-owned. You will see examples from all over the world from agents who do this program. Find the one you like. Go on Fiverr, Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Show the person what you want to do, but with your logo and everything else. Steal what they did, and for $5 within 24 to 48 hours, you've got a certified pre-owned program. What about the fourth one? The fourth one is one that one of our coaches, our team leader coaching, Rick Fuller, runs the #1 team in San Francisco and Sacramento, what he follows, and it's called Like It or List It. And they offer to people that if they don't like the property they purchase, within 90 days, they will resell that property for free. So like it or list it. If you don't love it within 90 days, you feel like you made a mistake, we'll resell it for you at 0 profit, no commission, no anything. He said to me the other day, he goes, we offer this, it gets us a ton of listings. People love the idea that, they don't feel pressured, they can check the house out. He goes, I don't think I've ever had anyone take advantage of it. And that's the thing you want to understand with these. Most people don't even take advantage of them, but it gets you in the door. Visibility trumps ability. And when you're talking about these guys, you don't just want to use them in your listing presentation. You've got to advertise it to your city consistently. You've got to have it in your testimonials. You've got to do a content piece on it. You've got to talk about it in your podcast. You got to talk about it in your YouTube show. You always have to have new offers. That is business 101. You have to have new offers. I was just, for those of you that saw that podcast, I just did with Russell Brunson, who's probably the #1 internet marketer in the world. Like I think most of us would agree with that. Okay, so I have him on, and he and I are talking beforehand and whatever, and about different things. We're talking about making offers and whatever. And I noticed like 2 weeks ago, the guy just came out with a new membership site platform, so you can have membership sites. He already had a membership site platform. He literally just repackaged it and created a new offer. Why? Because you always need to be able to make new offers. That is business 101. Repackage them, go with a new one 1 quarter, another one the other quarter. You got to be able to make new offers. How do stores make money? They send out offers, right? It's about having a new offer. Third way we can create listings. Use social posts. So we have a post that we use with a lot of our students that works out really well. And again, all of these are on slides, so don't worry about me talking too fast through them. And the post you want to put out on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you be to sell your house if I brought you a strong buyer right now at the right price? You start putting that out there. You mix it up Facebook 1 week, Instagram the next week, business page the week after, and you promote it to the area, people that don't even follow you. Watch the kind of responses you get. Instagram enough. You know when you go into Instagram stories and you got that little square looking thing at the top where you click on it and it gives you a bunch of options for your story. You could do stickers, you can, whatever. There's a million things you can do. But one of the things you can do is put up a poll. And all of us should be doing polls on a regular basis that say things like, have you had thoughts of selling your home in the next 12 months? Do you know anybody considering selling their house? Have you had thoughts of buying a home in the next 12 months? But here's the beauty, guys. That's not ingenious in itself. That's pretty simple language, right? But the key is the consistency. Those stories go away in 24 hours. Why would you not have one or two of those being posted per week? Ongoing. The beauty of our industry is potential clients are always turning over. Whoever's a client today is not a client tomorrow. And people that weren't selling or buying today, 3 months from now, they are buying and selling. You got to constantly put it in front of them. How many of you, by the way, are watching right now? Because how many times have I posted on my stories, have you registered? Working on the content, have you registered? And I go, have you registered? Yes, no. Have you registered? No, not yet. Have you registered? Yes, not yet. Then what you do on Instagram and these places, you can actually go into your story and see who voted. Who said yes? Who said not yet? Do you know many of you are here right now because I went in and saw the hundreds of you that said not yet, and I literally went and DM'd you. Direct message for anybody 45 or younger or older. I literally DM'd you and I was like, not yet. What are you waiting for? Do you have any questions? And you went and registered when you had no intention of doing it. You could do the same thing with sellers and buyers, but you got to be consistent. It's got to be on a schedule. You do it a couple times every single week. It goes away, it comes back. It goes away, it comes back. Anybody who says yes, you go click on them, go send them a direct message. Awesome. When are you looking at doing that? Anything I can help you with? Anything? Start the conversations. You got to make it happen, right? Fourth way you can create listings. Create a loyalty program for your past clients. Like, how many of you right now, God, I wish I could see your hands. Although the truth is, I probably see just as many hands up if everyone was in the room as I'm going to see not being able to see you. How many of you have a loyalty program? Probably not many hands. Loyalty programs are powerful. Yesterday, my wife said to me, she goes, oh my God, Jared, Bradley, Hartford in Connecticut has direct flights going now from Hartford to LA, from Hartford to Las Vegas, from Hartford to all these places I used to go all the time and will go again someday. And she's like, JetBlue is doing it. And you know what I said? Why are you telling me that? And she's like, well, because you go to those places. I'm like, I'm a Delta guy. I'm not losing my rewards. I got to go with Delta. That's the power of loyalty programs. So you should have a loyalty program that you define, that you sell to, not sell, but you sell it to them in the sense of you convince them why it's a good thing. That includes things like a yearly gift card to the restaurant of their choice. You know, we're going to talk about, when I talk to Darren Dawson, the creator of BombBomb, about how much money are you investing in past people. We look at ROI and we look at spend on leads. We don't look at spend of after, when the value of somebody after they close is way greater than before. That's a mistake. We're going to talk about that. So you need to have a yearly gift card going to those people in that loyalty program. You need to offer them one night a year of babysitting if they have children. It's weird if you offer it and they don't, but if they have children, one night a year of babysitting. If you have older kids, make them do it. If not, what's it, 10, 12? It's 2020. It's probably $50 an hour for a babysitter. But either way, you get the point, right? Offer something like that. Offer them a yearly value of their home. Offer them a free tax assessment appeal. Offer them the closed Facebook group. Offer them whatever you can think of that's going to make your loyalty program be something of value to them. You got to start offering that, right? We have to know how to package our value, right? When you look at it, many times people will go into a listing and they'll win the listing. When they were able to communicate what their person does at the front desk to set up showings, and they call it something else, but they communicate what the person's going to get, what the seller's going to get. When the person over here who lost had the exact same stuff available, exact same resources, they just didn't communicate it. So we have to know how to communicate this stuff. It's not enough to have a loyalty program. You got to know how to communicate it, right? Number 5, it's a simple one, but not being used enough. Your just sold marketing needs to appeal to new sellers and have a call to action. I see way too many flyers and other things going out for listings that basically, have your phone number, have your email, but there's absolutely no call to action. One of the slides you're going to see as a part of this session right here gives an example of what I'm talking about, right? But you could say something like, just sold, first week, this much over asking. Did you know that this sale may have changed the value of your home? Contact me right away to know how it may have changed. That's a call to action. This sale may have changed the value of yours. Contact me to find out how it may have changed. That's how you want to hit them with that. Not just, hey, let me know if you need anything. That's not a close. Number 6, the 6th way you can create listings. Congratulations post to your clients on social media. Now, this is very step by step, so stick with me. We all know to do congratulations post. Like, we all know, congratulations to my clients, awesome. We all know that that's what happens, right? But here's what you want to do step by step to get a better result. Take a picture with them, okay? One on Facebook, one on Instagram that says, congratulations to my people, blah, 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 on the sale of their home, on the purchase of their home, on whatever it happens to be, and do all the congratulations, and then say, this means that I have one more spot for another seller. This means I have one more spot for another buyer. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Now, here's the gold. By having you in there, by telling them this means that I've got one more spot, those posts tend to get more traction, right? Because here's what we know about the algorithm in Facebook and Instagram. When you write congratulations in Facebook or Instagram, the algorithm goes crazy because it's like, this needs to be, little thing you can do, guys, if you ever want your stuff to be seen, just write congratulations in the comments. I'm just half kidding, but it actually will work. So what you're going to do, though, is you're going to put that post up because we want their people to see it, but we're not going to tag them right away. Why are we not going to tag them right away? Because they're going through one of the busiest, most stressful times of their life, a closing. And they may not see our post or they may not see the tag. So we're going to put it there for 3 days, hope that they see it. And if they do, they're going to share it to their people. And now because their people are going to say congrats, they're going to write nice things about you. You're in front of all of their people. But if they don't share it, we're going to wait 3 days until the craziness passes. Then we're going to tag them. And now that they're moved in and they've settled down a bit and the whole thing, now we're going to tag them and it's going to show up to them. And now they're going to share it and everyone's going to see what we did and what we offer. And we are going to be visible in front of all of these people. It's gold. It's simple. It's step by step, but it's gold. Number 7. We talked about this one last year, but I'm going to take it a few different levels. So number 7 way to get listings is to send out financial updates to all your past clients. Simple process. We talked about it last year. Think of it like this. Again, if I can see you, if you're in a room, how many of you have money invested and you work with a financial advisor? People have that, right? That financial advisor, do they reach out to you every year and tell you how your money is doing? They absolutely do, right? So here's my question. Is not the number one thing that creates wealth for people their house, real estate? So aren't we kind of their financial advisor? Why aren't we reaching out unannounced once a year to give them an update on their home's value, to let them know how their investment is doing? And so what we need to do is every time we close on a property, we need to set up in our CRM a reminder 11 and a half months from then that's going to say, reach out, let them know what it's worth, right? And so that's step 1. We're going to reach out, give them a value. But here's step 2. Use Google Earth if you really want to get a great return, okay? So if you use something like BombBomb or a company like that that allows you to screen share and then you're in the bottom corner while you're doing it, if you go on Google Earth, and this is pretty simple, go to Google, type in Google Earth. It's going to ask you to download, okay? Once you're in Google Earth, you can put in any address you want. So you're going to put in their address. It's now going to show their house. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, whatever you want, but it is an above view of their property. You are going to not just do an update on their house, you're going to screen share on Google Earth and have it show their property for the first half of the video. And you're going to talk about their property and what's changed and how it's affected their value and the whole thing. But the beauty is when you use a company like BombBomb or one of those types of companies, they let you pick which clip from the video you want to be the thumbnail that everyone sees. So you're going to make a thumbnail of Google Earth showing their property. Because when you show their property, what happens? Now they want to know what's going on. Your open rates are going to go through the roof, right? And now you do the same thing. You talk to them, you tell them what's going on with their property, the whole thing, right? That's one way to reach out to them. Another thing you can do here is that you can start taking that same principle and use it as a prospecting tool in your database. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take that same principle where you take the address, you type it into Google Earth, and you screen share it. So the main screen is showing Google Earth with their property. You're in the bottom corner talking about it. But I want you to take 5 people a day from your database that are not past clients, that are just in your database. And I want you to give them values of their home with the same thing. It's going to have the screenshot of their home so you know that they're going to watch it. And you're going to randomly reach out to 5 people a day and give them an assessment of their value and let them know what's happened, because many places values have gone up, and here's how much it's gone up, and here's what you could do with the extra equity. Here's the kind of investment properties. Here's what's going on in the move up market. Here's what's going on. Okay. And you always want to end by letting them know. Love to let you know more about that property, how it's changed. By the way, I've got an influx of buyers. So if you know anyone or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell it without it ever hitting the market. Do that 5 times a day. Watch what happens. It's 25 a week, right? Now you're talking, that's 1,300 a year. That's a lot of people. Watch how many listings you create. But let's take that to one more step. So the 8th way that we create listings, taking almost that exact same principle, we're going to do things a little bit differently. What if you send a video to your database? But here's what you're going to do. You're going to hold up 2 different signs. And one is going to say blank percent, 8.7%, and the other one's going to say 5.9%, okay? So you're going to do a video holding up those 2 things, and you're going to shoot a video on the local market. And what those numbers represent is, one is the percent change for the country that you're in, okay? And the other is the percent change for the area, for the state, the county, whatever it is that you're working, right? But what you're going to do is that you're going to send out to your whole database this video that you shot overall. And the subject of the email is going to say, watch this to see what these numbers have to do with your home value. Okay. And they're going to open it and they're going to see the video, because you're using BombBomb, where it's going to go 8.7, 5.9. And the subject's going to say, watch this to see what these numbers have to do with your home value. And now you're going to use what I call going macro to micro. You send that out to your entire database. Okay. And when you use a company like BombBomb or any one of these other places, what you're able to do is a couple days later, you go check that email. You can not only see who opened it, you can see who watched the video, okay? So now you know you've got a captive audience. They cared about their home's value. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go along and you're gonna click on the thing that shows how many people watched the video. And it's gonna list them. And if you do it in BombBomb, other companies you can do it as well, but in BombBomb, it's gonna not only list them, but it's gonna have a little red record next to it. And so what you're gonna be able to do now is shoot a new video just to those people who watched the video. And you're gonna shoot a new video just to them and say, hey, John, don't know if you got a chance to watch my last video. Yes, I do. I know you watched it, right? Don't know if you got a chance to watch my last video, but I've got some information on your specific area that I think you might be interested in. Reach back out as soon as you can so I can let you know about it. And now you're following up on that, okay? That's one that can go to your whole database. That's called going macro to micro. Use the whole database, see who opens the video, then get so micro on that one person, send them a 1-to-1 video, start doing that on a daily basis, watch what happens with listings. Because the idea is, with a listing, you've got to get there first. You got to be first. When a listing hits the market, it's not when it hits the market. It was won a month ago. It was won 2 months ago. Visibility trumps ability. These are different ways you can do that. Number 9, the 9th way to create listings. It's an oldie but a goodie, guys. I almost get tired of teaching this, but it just still works, okay? All of our students use a thing called the new listing prospecting letter. Still works. Fantastic. The idea of the new listing prospecting letter is, look, we know statistically within 30 days, whenever a listing hits the market, within 30 days, another listing is going to hit the market. We know that within 6 months, 2 to 3 more listings are going to hit a market. So what does that tell us? It tells us that when a listing comes on the market, what's going to happen in that neighborhood within 30 days? Another listing. So why wouldn't you, depending on the way that your team is formulated, or if you're on your own, whether it's you, an assistant, a marketing person, whatever it is, set up in your MLS a save search for all of the neighborhoods that you want to have listings in. And now every time a listing comes up in one of those neighborhoods, you're notified. And now when you're notified, what do we really know? We know that another listing's going to come up. So we're going to send this letter out to the whole area. And the letter basically says, hey there, just wanted to let you know your neighbor's property was just listed over at blank. Am I saying I listed it? Nope, not saying I listed it. I don't have to list it. It's publicly listed information. Your neighbor's property was just listed over at blank. Thought you might want some more information. More importantly, you may not be aware, but this may have changed the value of your property. Okay, guys, this is communication 101. It's not what you say that matters. It's what people hear. You're not looking for the 49 no's. You're looking for the one yes. And the one yes that's looking to sell in that neighborhood, they're looking at it and they're going, when you say, hey, it may have changed, what did they hear? They heard my value went, I didn't say up. That's what they heard though. So I'm going to be sending that letter out every single time a listing comes up in an area that I want a listing in. It's going to happen automatically. This is how you stay consistent. This is how you have listing appointments coming in. And by the way, you can take that principle. There's many other ways that we can leverage that principle from the social, internet, and everything else. But another thing you could do is, in addition to sending that letter out, you could also use a company like Sly Broadcast. And Sly Broadcast is a company where you can record a voicemail, hit submit, and the recipient you have in there, that voicemail will go to every single one of their voicemails automatically. So now you not only send the letter, but then you record a voicemail. Hey, I don't know if you got my letter, but I want to let you know your neighbor's property just came up over at blank. Thought you might want some more information on it. More importantly, you may not be aware, but this may have changed the value of your property. If you'd like to know how it may have changed, I'm going to be at this number for the next 2 hours. I'm going to drop a deadline. And now I do that. Can't wait to hear from you. And I'm going to hit send, and it's going to go in the voicemail of every single person in the area. Now that's marketing in a 2020 world, but it's about getting them on different levels, right? Remember the old days? Statistics tell us that people have to see your marketing 6 times before they actually remember you. Okay, 6 times. Now in the old days, that meant magazine, billboard, commercial, all these different whatever. We have so many different ways to do it now. So you've got to leverage what's available today. And speaking of leveraging, let's talk about number 10, the 10th way to create listings. Leverage your buyers. This is the greatest way to get listings today. Leverage your buyers. You have what sellers want. Like, if you want to catch the mice, you got to have the cheese. Any of you watch Shark Week, or am I the only one? What do they do when they want a shark to come around? I'm pretty sure if you threw me in the water, knowing my luck, they'd be right there. But they throw chum in the water, right? So it's the same way across the board, guys. Like, if you want to get sellers, leverage buyers. So in order to understand this principle, you've got to understand that in our marketplace, every action deserves a reaction. This is where people miss it, by the way. Every action deserves a reaction. Don't be passive. Don't sit back and wait. Every action deserves a reaction. The new listing prospecting letter was all about action, reaction, right? Listing comes up, letter goes out, right? Same thing with leveraging your buyers. We do a thing with our students, a few different things I'll go over with you. One of them is we use a buyer neighborhood campaign. And basically every time we show some of our buyers a neighborhood, a property, and they don't buy it, we know that that property is listed, which means within 30 days, what's going to happen? Another one's going to hit the market, right? And so every time we show a property to our buyers and they don't buy it, we send out to the neighborhood. By the way, it's easy to do, guys. If you're in the US, you can use USPS.com, EDDM, every door direct mail, EDDM. They'll actually send stuff out according to mail routes, and it's much cheaper. In other countries, you just got to Google it. Like, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Don't get caught up in that. That's stuff you can Google, YouTube, figure out. Just stick with the principle, right? So now we're going to send that letter to the neighborhood, and we're going to say, hey, I just showed my buyers, Dan and Sandy, just making up names, your neighbor's property over at blank. Unfortunately, it wasn't the perfect fit for them, but as I'm sure you're not aware, they absolutely love the neighborhood. What they're looking for is, and I'm going to describe just about every house in that neighborhood. They're looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom. Most of the neighborhoods are pretty similar, right? If you or anyone, you guys notice the language? If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, can you please let me know right away? I may be able to sell your house without it ever even hitting the market. I'm going to send that out every time I do a showing because we know that there is a listing in that perimeter. We just have to find it. That's called the buyer neighborhood letter. What about the buyer's offer not accepted? Hey guys, any of you during this time right now made an offer and not had it accepted? I mean, I feel silly even saying it. By the way, we have a great session taught by Howie Boovy, one of our coaches, on 10 ways to get your offers accepted that you all need to check out, right? But you've all been in that right now. Like offers many times are not getting accepted, right? But that's an opportunity because it means you have a buyer ready, willing, and able, loves that neighborhood, good to go, and a listing is going to come up in that area. So why wouldn't we send a letter to the neighborhood? Hey, just want to let you know, my buyers, whatever names I said before, just made an offer on your neighbor's property. Unfortunately, it wasn't accepted. But they absolutely love this neighborhood. What they're looking for is they're ready, willing, and able right now. They just need to find a home to go. If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know. You see how this is same language? See how this goes? Just another, every action deserves a reaction. What about the third way you can do it with your buyers? Let the area know what your buyers are looking for. Shoot a video. Guys, this is money right now. Like we have clients doing this all over the world and it works so well. Shoot a video and to the marketplace and just say, hey, I've got 2 buyers looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom, 1,500 to 2,000 square foot ranch, you know, with whatever the details are, due to the low inventory, but unable to get anything, but they are ready, willing, and able to go. If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell your property without ever even hitting the market. You take that video that you shoot, and you can shoot a bunch of different ones based on all the different types of buyers you have. Send it to your database, put it on your business page and your Instagram business page, and promote it to the area. Promote it to the area. Look, you can still target by location. You just can't do zip codes and stuff. But promote it to your whole area. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what you're looking for. Put it in front of people who don't know you. That all of a sudden, someone's going to see it and go, oh my God, mom's looking to sell her house. And they're going to go tag mom in your comments, or they're going to reach out to you. It's business grows when you reach outside of your normal sphere. Okay? It grows by taking advantage of the people, you know, that are going to buy and sell in your sphere. But it also grows by expanding the pie, so to say, reaching out. This is one of the greatest ways that you can do that. Number 11 way you can create business. One that a lot of you don't like, but man, it works. FSBOs. For sale by owners. FSBO. Fastest, shortest business opportunity. Who wants to sell more than FSBOs? Okay. Now, a lot of them right now will try to sell on their own because they think that they don't need you. Statistics show us that a property that is listed by a for sale by owner sells on average for $200,000, whereas a house listed on the MLS sells for $280,000 nationwide. That is a huge gap. They think they're saving 6%. What they don't know is how educated buyers are when they come in, and they're coming in and they're going, yeah, I know your neighbor sold for that, but they sold through an agent and they paid 6%. So I'm going to take that off of my offer. And so they think that they're doing something good. They just need to be educated. But the problem is with FSBOs, we have been taught incorrectly how to do it for so long. You know, when you look at FSBOs, last year I talked about when we do it with our students, we talk about the 7 non-negotiables. The 7 non-negotiables of what you do every single day. If you don't have a copy of that, again, go into our group on Facebook, Jared James Coaching, and just type in non-negotiables or 7 or something until it comes up. But the number 5 non-negotiable is 10 new conversations a day. The number 6 non-negotiable is 30 minutes of follow-up. Why wouldn't we be spending that on FSBOs, on FSBOs, on for sale by owners? You know, FSBOs last year accounted for 11% of home value, of home sales. And so we know that it's a big part of the market, but we've been taught to lie to them. We've been taught to say, yeah, I've got a buyer. And right away they know you're lying. So here's what I want you to do. All of our students, in other words, they have access to these scripts, these dialogues. We're going to call up and we're going to say, hey, is this the owner of the home for sale? That's called a pattern disrupt. Okay. Is this the owner of the home for sale? They're going to be like, yeah. They're going to be like, who's this? You can say, this is Jared from so-and-so. Don't really say that. Say your name and whatever company you're from. And then they're probably going to be like, they're going to get short and abrupt. And they're going to be like, do you have a buyer for my home? And what have you been taught to say? Oh, yes, I have a buyer for your home. How do you have a buyer for a property you've never seen? They know you're lying. Like, That's scumbag 101, right? And so your response is going to be something like, it's impossible for me to know that without actually seeing it. I've got a lot of buyers that seem to fit this criteria, but as an expert in the area, I pride myself on knowing all the inventory, which includes your property. So I really just need to see it to see if it fits their criteria. I just had a couple of questions for you, though. Transition the conversation. They're going to say, well, what's that? You're going to say, what's the price of the property? This is called a setup. We're setting them up. What's the price of the property? And they're going to say something like, well, doesn't it say it on that site? And you're going to say, yes, but you can't believe everything you see online. I mean, have you ever gotten a Zestimate? And you're going to smile and laugh, and they're going to smile and laugh, and they're going to be thinking to themselves, that's not accurate? That's how I priced my property. Like, what do you mean? That's not accurate, right? That's a setup, okay? And then we're going to let them know at some point in that conversation, hey, it turns out I'm going to be in your area tomorrow, around 5 o'clock. Mind if I stop by to get a quick view of it so I know if it meets anybody who's serious about selling is going to allow you to come by, right? Now, when you go there, the goal is not to list the property. They're not ready for that at that moment. That's not what they're looking for. So unless they bring it up, you don't bring it up. Your goal is rapport. Your goal is to look on their kids, let them drool all over you, act like you love how messy their house is, and just, well, I'm surprised this hasn't sold yet. Like, that's your job. Go there and get them to like you, okay? So you're going to go through the house, you're going to talk to them, but at the end of that walkthrough, you're going to say one thing. You're going to say, you know what? I'm going to go bring this to my buyers and see if I have anybody who really kind of fits this right now. I just need to know whether I do or not. I really hope that you're successful in selling this, even if I don't have. Would it be all right if from time to time, when something comes up that matches your profile, that matches your property, that I let you know about it? Because if someone else brings in a buyer, you're going to want to know what competition is out there and what you're up against. Sometimes I hear about properties before they hit. Would you mind if I let you know that from time to time? And they're going to be like, yeah, let me know what's going on. You just received approval to contact them from time to time. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it in your CRM for a follow-up every week to 2 weeks. You're going to find some kind of a comp, you're going to just keep following up. And hey, just want to let you know, this one just came on. It's kind of similar to yours. Here's what it has. And you're going to go on and on and on and on, because over 80% of for sale by owners end up listing with an agent. The only question is who it's going to be. Come from a place of value. Bring them value. Keep giving them info. If they sell on their own, awesome. Leave it alone. They still need someone to help them buy. There's another angle you can go in with them. But if they don't, you want to be the one that they think about. Come from a place of value. Come from a place of trying to help, not from a place that you're trying to close them on the first date. All right. Next one. Number 12 way, investors. All of you should be looking at things like REIA, Real Estate Investors Associations. We're going to actually do a session later on investing that will go much more in depth on this. But one of the main ways that I created business when I was selling was that I created relationships with investors. Investors don't care who they use. They just care about the deal. So I would go to these investment groups and I would go start creating a network. Hey, what are you looking for? Are you a buy and hold? Are you a flip investor? Are you a whatever it is? And I started collecting all of these kinds of people. And then I would set up on my MLS, a search with all of the terms that we know are investment properties. So I would put in keywords so that anytime anything came up with this, it would come to me. And it would say things like pre-approval required, sold as is, bank addendum, like all of these things. So I'd always know about them. And when they come in, I get notified and I start calling all my investors. You want to go see this? You want to go see this? And the only deal was that if you buy it and you flip it, you got to list it through me if I brought it to you. Great way to create sellers. Next way. And by the way, also on the investment side, I wasn't going to cover this, but I'm halfway into the sentence, so let's do it. Another great way to get listings right now are things like Airbnb, VRBO.com, Airbnb.com, VRBO.com. They bought those properties based on the idea that they were going to have great revenue. The travel industry sucks right now. Okay, like they're not filling the rental that they thought they were going to get. Their information is right on the site. Go reach out to them. It's got their number. Maybe that investment now, because housing prices have raised, is going to be a different thing where they're going to make money on the sell rather than on the monthly income. Start reaching out. Nobody else is reaching out to them. That's a little bonus for you. Number 13, maximize your listings. This is a big one right here. When you look at every single listing you have should create 2 buyers and 1 seller on average. Okay. Some of us, though, we're selling properties too quickly. Okay. Listen to me, guys. This is big. You're selling properties too quickly, and then you're advertising it. You know, one of the things that a lot of our coaches were talking about that they do is that when they put a property out there that they know is popular, they'll put something on it that actually says, you know, decision will be made in 9 days. It'll be on this date. Gives them 2 weekends to promote it through an open house, to collect offers, not just price. Look, part of the reason they have you is that it's more than price. There's a lot of other contingencies that they don't even think of. That's why you're there. That's why your value is there. Some of you need to, in areas you're allowed to, start doing delayed showings. Okay? Some places you're allowed to, some places you're not. If you're allowed to, it's a great way. With COVID, everybody can't be in at the same time. You have a line going around the block. Put it on there, delayed showings until this date. Create that. It's not about selling it in the first 24 hours. Please hear me on this. You guys are actually hurting yourselves with this. Show some patience. When you're putting all these ads out, you know, within 24 hours, 1,800 offers. We got over what the market's looking at it going, what do I need you for? Like, we're creating the FSBO market because sellers are going, what do I need you for? And yet it's so much more than that. That's why we're there, right? That's why they need us, is to know which offer is the best offer and to market it correctly and to get the right price and do so. Delayed decision until a certain day. Get all the offers. Show one of the ways you separate yourself from other potential agents, show some patience. Hey, I know that you want to get sold quickly, but I want to get you the best offer. And this is how it's going to happen if we delay things a little bit. By the way, by you doing that, delaying it out a certain amount of time frame, you're doing open houses. You're circle prospecting now. You're able to search for other sellers in the area. You're able to go door knock the area in the areas that you're still allowed to do that. You're able to call the area. Every single listing should be at least 2 buyers and 1 other seller. And you kill your ability to do that when you throw it on the market and sell it right away. And you also hurt the industry in a little bit because you're telling everyone, I'm not needed, just throw it up there and it sells. So think about that a little bit. And last but not least, guys, the number 14 way that you can create listings. Do a great job with your current sellers. I can't stress this one enough. Guys, listen to this stat. This is all up on your slides. Buyers who would use their agent again or recommend their agent, 90%. Sellers who would recommend or use their agent again, 48%. The one that we have the most control over, almost half would use us again because we're not fully doing our jobs. We're not marketing the property correctly. We're not getting the word out to everybody. We're not having that tough conversation telling them it's not just price. There's other things that matter in this. We're taking pictures with our phones, saving $150, but losing another listing because the pictures weren't what they should be. Do you know how professional it makes you look to say, hey, this is when they're going to come in. They're going to be scheduled to do this. Don't worry, I cover all of this as part of my marketing, and you go through your plan. That's a professional. When we see 90% of buyers saying they'd use their agent again, but only 48% of sellers, we're doing something wrong. And we want to fix that. Guys, there's a million other things that I could cover. I mean, look, one of the best ways, show up first on Google. It's a great way to create listings. Not going to cover it now. We have an actual session in the breakouts about how you can show up first on Google. Guys, take advantage of this information. It is gold for you if you'll actually implement it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the mentality needed to get listings because you guys know this thing matters. Some of you are listening to me right now and you're fighting an argument in your head and you haven't heard half of what I said. Mentality matters. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Sean Ainen and talk about the mindset needed to get listings. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
All right, a lot of information there to unpack. Every time I watch it, I've watched it probably half a dozen times. I continue to make more notes and tweak and talk about things. I just want to spend a few minutes congratulating all of you for being here. So many real estate agents, treat their business as I'm just a salesperson. And you guys made the decision that I'm a business owner and I'm going to work on my business. So congratulations on that. I think this is a win-win for all of us. I don't think we do enough collaborating and sharing and helping each other do the best we can be. And let me just tell you, if Judy and Jeff Kramers and others all get more listings because of this, that helps me with my buyers, and it's a win-win for all of us. And so I really hope you guys can, guys and gals can take away from this, you know, and have much more success in gaining listings. We're going to take 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. You guys have questions, please plug them into the chat box. Shelby will be answering questions and helping through that. We're also going to offer a free 15-minute-ish coaching session that if you want to download, take a deeper dive on some of these things of implementation, we can schedule that. We'll put that in the chat box as far as a calendar invite. You know, the coaching that I do with the students, that's the number one challenge is there's always a ton of great ideas and a ton of great content that Jared had shared with us. But the key to the success is, what are you going to take and implement? What are you actually going to implement into a system that consistently happens every time? And that's where we spend a lot of time coaching our students, is just what does that implementation look like and how do we do that well with plugging it in. So I want to say thanks again to Casey for lunch and offering that. Apologize for the mix up, but Shelby, we got any questions being asked yet from anybody? Can we check in? If you got any questions on the chat, please drop a note in the chat.
So no questions yet. Kevin did ask if everybody will get slides following this, and the answer is yes. Yep. After this, I will be sure to send a recording of all of this so you can watch the Jared James video again, as well as have all of those slides. Just so you know, Dominic did drop that link in there for the 15-minute coaching call for some of the deeper dive and things like that. No questions at this time, but feel free, don't be shy.
We'll take a peek in the chat here. I think we saw, oh, Elizabeth said, thank you for lunch. You were very
Yep.
welcome, Elizabeth. Judy, thank you. I'm glad it was good, good information for you. Good stuff.
Really good.
Just too much, too fast. I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Drinking.
mean, as soon as I wrote something down, we were on to the next thing, and it's like, I can't
I
do it all.
watched it 3 times and feel the same way, where it's like, and okay, and number 2 on time number 3.
Yeah,
Hey, Shelby,
Yeah.
Kevin asked if they were getting the slide deck. I don't know if you saw that question.
Yeah, I answered that already.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know how I missed that. Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Judy, the slides will help you a lot, and
Yeah.
you'll get the recording. We'll send it to you again, and yeah, feel free to reach out at any time if you have further questions on implementing them. We're constantly working on, you know, with our company, how to implement these things and do a great job. So
Okay.
there's a lot there.
Kevin said he has great energy and he loved it. I agree. I think
Yeah.
when we saw him in Nashville, and we had obviously heard his stuff before, but seeing him in person, yeah, his energy, his vibe, it's definitely motivating. We all came back hitting the ground running after seeing somebody like that, and with his mentality, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Delivery is everything.
Well, it's a topic that we definitely all need to be focused on, because we have such low inventory. And I think for all of us to have success, the success that we want in 2021, this has to be a key to all of us. How do we do a better job of managing the fears of sellers and getting more people to put their house for sale? And I think it's just a win-win for everybody. So I wanted to make sure we put one of these top agent forums on, talking about listings, because that's a challenge in today's market, obviously.